All right, back in the house with Coach Probst, and man, last week I got to attend the game. Coach, you guys look like you're having fun out there. Dominant fashion, you won last week. I think it's safe to say that. And when I was there, you guys were getting it done on offense, defense, and special teams as well. But just kind of take us back to last week. You knew Isabella's going to be a tough physical team, but it's kind of like you guys broke their will, so to speak. Took the physicality to them, and as that game went on, you could just tell that they were probably ready to get back out of here. You guys ended up winning, I believe it's 56-14, but take us back to that Isabella game last week, Coach.
Well, I thought that our kids were excited about playing and being in the playoffs for the first time in a couple of years. We only got 5 players that really played a significant role in the 23 state runner-up team. The rest of them was the first time for them, and then obviously what happened last year with some of our seniors that did play in the 23 game, they were all eager to get back involved in a championship run, and I thought we played with high emotions. I thought we played with high energy, and again, I thought we clicked it on all cylinders. I thought going into it, I was concerned. I thought Isabel had a better team than most people give them credit for. They had played a lot of people. They'd beat TA. They'd played some tough teams, Maplesville, and so we were concerned going into round 1. But our kids answered the bell, and I'm proud of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really impressive win. And then I don't like doing this in the middle of the season. I mean, you can look back after careers are over with, but how special is Kylan? If you could put that into words.
I think he's a really special player. There's no question that his ability is top notch. I mean, I compare him to a David Palmer type, and a lot of people say, "Who's David Palmer?" Well, look him up.
I know exactly who he is.
I mean, look him up. I mean, that's unbelievable. I watched David Palmer play in Jackson Olin back in the early '90s, and he was around about the time I guess Freddie Kitchens was at Etowah, and Etowah was rolling. But I compare him to. I mean, I'm not saying he's where he is right now, but he's that type of player.
Correct.
He has physicality. He has speed. He has twitch. He has really high football IQ. On both sides of the ball. When it gets to the next level, which he's an SEC guy. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. I don't know where he'll play, though. I mean, I don't know if he'll be a corner, nickel, or slot receiver. He'll have to get some height on him. He's not as tall as I think some of the SEC guys would like, but he's got 2 more years to grow, 3 more years to grow.
Yeah.
As far as to get to his potential. But he dang sure can play slot receiver.
Oh, yeah.
In the SEC level. And probably he can play a nickel because of his physicality. Yep. Most guys like that is so athletic, Bo. They're not physical. But he's physical, man. Yeah. He brings the when he hits people. I mean, he's a great tackler, and he's a physical tackler.
He and Grayson on that one play was, Jesus, that video that Brick Boy put out where they got the guy on the sidelines over there on that 4th and short or whatever. That was... Yeah. I mean, that show you how physical he is.
He's a special player, man.
And in open field, he's just and I remember when Isabella worked so hard to come down there and score that touchdown. I believe it was one play later, Kylan goes, 60, 70 yards. And that kind of stuff will break people's will, know. But, yeah, David Palmer, I definitely see the comparison.
There's no question. That's who he reminds me of. I'm trying to think of,
it's kind of Reggie Bush's in open field.
Yeah, that's exactly what he is. He's special. I played against Joe McKnight.
In Louisiana.
In Louisiana. We played against him when I was at Hoover, and he reminds me of him, too, in a lot of different ways. I mean, they're very, very, very similar to Joe McKnight that was at...
that's saying a lot.
At John Curtis.
Yeah, that's saying a whole lot. Your defense, they gave up a few yards there for a while, but then they flipped a switch and said, "No, we're shutting that down." Talk about that unit. They just seem to get better, and somebody will catch them occasionally, but you never put together a full games against them. They always adjust, and they do a really good job of really shutting people down.
Our defense staff does a phenomenal job. Teddy and Eric and these coaches, they work tireless hours, man. They are here to midnight every night, and sometimes sleep in the field house on Sundays and Monday nights because of all the work you got to do to get ready for a game. And I'm very impressed with Teddy Whitmire's ability to, because we got a couple of spots on defense we have to hide.
Yeah.
You know, we've got 9 spots that we feel real good about. It's 8 to 9 spots we feel real good about, but we got 2 spots that, you know, can be a little suspect. And the kids are trying, but they're just not experienced like those other 8 or 9 are.
Right.
And sometimes, you know, like in the Pell City game, they found those 2 spots on their final touchdown.
Right.
And so to win the game. So, you know, that's what Teddy's trying to do. It's a chess match, and it's a checkers game to where he's having to, or a jigsaw puzzle really, where he's having to put the pieces together each week. This offense does this, and so we got to move this kid here, or this kid there, that kid here. Hell, what about this kid? How do we hide him? How does he get exposed? So I'm very few people, Bo, can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, very few. The people I've had in the past, you think about the coordinators I've had in the past, okay. Kevin Sherrod, Jeremy Pruitt, Todd Watson, Kevin Shirley, Bill Clark, Jeremy Ralph, Jeff Kent, Travis Pearson, Tracy Buckhannon. I mean, I've had some really good coordinators in my career that I'm not sure those guys had to do this. And so to be able to do this, and that's a special talent, and you have to do it sometimes in 1A, 2A football, where you have to juggle it around to find the right formula, and that's what I think Teddy does. And I think that each week's a challenge for him because of what I just said.
Yeah. It definitely takes some pressure off you that you ain't got to sit there and dump all those hours. You probably don't have those hours to dump into that.
Well, I do, because usually before I leave here at night, you know, if say it's 9 or 10 o'clock, like last night, you know, on a Tuesday night, because it's the final night that you're really having to grind to put your final plan together. You know, I walk down in the defensive office and we'll sit down there a couple of hours with them,
Gotcha.
Sometimes 3 hours. You know, a couple of nights ago, you know, I was here till 4 a.m. with them. I mean, just, you know, I'd say, y'all come on home and lay on the couch, and I got an extra bed, you know, type situation. But they stayed here, and I went home, laid down for a few hours. But, you know, because I want to make sure, because I have been involved in some pretty sophisticated defensive schemes in my day.
Yeah.
And, but I got to make sure the offense is doing what they're supposed to. And also, Teddy handles the special teams.
Yeah.
So not only
is a big deal.
I mean, that's a big deal, man, and so I help him with it. But at the same time, he's mostly the plan. You know, I'd say he does 85% of it. I do 15% of it. So he works tired. Him and Eric work tireless hours. There's no doubt, and the rest of the staff does too. They just may not spend the hours that them two spend.
Yeah.
And Brody, our young coach that came from Fife last year. Brody Baggett, I'm telling you, he's going to be a fine young football coach. Man, it don't matter if it's 2 a.m., he's here.
Yeah.
And he's a college student. And he graduated last year, and he works his fanny off, man, on defense for Teddy. And so that gives us those 3 guys, and that'll stay up here tireless hours to get the plan ready.
That's awesome. Talk about Lexington a little bit. I know a lot of people on paper, that's why we don't play on paper, games are played on the field, was thinking y'all were going to be facing North Sand this week. And then Lexington went in there, not only won, but they won in dominant fashion. What have you seen from them when you turn the tape on?
When you look at them, I mean, they're a good football team. They are physical. They're coached by Brett Mask, who's Steve Mask's son.
Gotcha.
Steve's Hall of Fame coach in this state, with several state titles, and he was at Culver County. May have won one at St. Paul, I think.
He did.
And so I believe that I believe Brent will have his team ready, no doubt. They're big, they're physical, Their two most impressive players are those two outside linebacker defensive end guys, number 11 and number 25. They're 6'2", 205. The other one's 6'4", 200, 205. They're long and lengthy and physical. So they set the edge, and they're good at setting the edge. So with that being said, and they're big inside.
I've seen some of their linemen. They're pretty good sized guys.
They're good sized guys. So, and we've had a crappy week of preparation, and it was cold. It was Sunday, for whatever reason, our kids didn't come in here focused, and then Monday the cold, bitter. We couldn't get outside, but we got out there for an hour offensively. Defensively, went inside. But we had to get out there. We went out there and tried to throw in it, but it wasn't very productive. I'll just be honest with you. And then yesterday, we went outside and it was better, but still cool.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't a great day. I'm not. Once you go back and look at the film, and I've always learned this: when you come off the practice field, you form an opinion, good or bad. Well, I formed an opinion bad. I get in here last night and watch the tape. It's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
And that's the same way. Sometimes you look out there and go, man, that was a good practice. You tell your team, you get in here and start watching film, you go, crap, that's worse than I thought. So I've tried to not form an opinion right after practice. That's why you film practice. And they had not done that here. Morgan and them didn't film practice. And if they did, it was very, very few times. Most of the coaches have told me they just didn't do that. And so I think you have to, and you film it, and then you come in and watch it and make the corrections, and then you're better for it the next day. Now, there's a fine line. Like I was mad last night when I got in here, so I'm going to go full pads on Wednesday. We're going to go out there and knock heads again. I don't know that I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
After watching the tape, and it's 2 days full of the game,
yeah.
I got to be smart and use my experience of where I've been and what I've done. Our kids will respond, but, we got to go out there and shorten the day today. We may go shells, but we're not going to be out there long. We're going to be out there an hour and a half instead of, we were here yesterday 6-7 hours, counting weights and film and walkthroughs, and we were off, and I don't know if sometimes that can be counterproductive. So today I've got to lighten it up a little bit, tomorrow lighten it up even more, and then let's get ready to play.
Yeah, being able to play that one at home obviously is going to help too. You ain't got to travel to Lexington.
That's a ways to Lexington. It's got to be on the bus. Got to be 3 hours.
Yeah, that's a long way.
It's a long way.
So you'd rather them enjoy that trip?
Yeah, I'd rather them enjoy that trip than us. But again, we respect Lexington, and they were the better team versus North Sand Mountain, and that's why you don't listen to journalists and read newspaper articles and all that mess, because they don't know.
Yeah.
But when you turn the film on, Lexington was the better football team, no question about it. North Sand was not very good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they not, Lexington just kind of took it to them. I believe 52-23 it ended up. But, Coach, before I shut it down, I always like to kick it to you just for final thoughts and, probably this key. I know you're not going to give any game plan away, and I don't blame you, but just keys to the game.
Well, it's the old adage in playoff football. You can't turn the ball over. You can't have stupid penalties, and we had some last week. Too many personal fouls again. We didn't have holding calls. That was a plus. The PI on LJ was not a good call, and the guy just missed it. He said he missed it, so I appreciate the official being honest with me. I thought the crew last week, officials' crew, was good. 90% of the penalties we got, we did. So there were two in question, and the official told me he messed that one up. So again, all you can ask for as official is honesty.
Yeah.
And but it was a good crew, and I wouldn't mind having him again down the road. So I think that the key to the game is you got to start fast, you got to play fast, and I tell people all the time, 2 hours and a half, 2 hours and 45 minute game. In that capsule of that time is when you have to play playoff brand football, and there's a lot of woulda, shoulda done things that you could say after the game, but at the end of the story, you have to be ready mentally to play, physically to play, which I think we will be physically. We just got to get our mind right going into this ball game and play playoff football. Each game is a championship sudden death game.
That's right.
And you cannot look ahead, and you cannot focus on who they are. We got to focus on who we are and quit forming opinions on teams and listen to social media because that gets you beat. As Coach Saban says, it's rat poison.
Yeah.
And kids today, man, they eat rat poison quicker than rats do. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I swear to God, I believe kids today eat more rat poison than they've ever eaten rat poison in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And I think all that's due to social media.
Yep. They get access to any game. They get access to talking heads. And a lot of them never put up a pad on in their life.
These people that talk are so, I mean, I watch it on a national level. I mean, there's some stupid people out there, man, that say things that they got no idea.
That's right.
I mean, you know, I listen to Greg McElroy. He's played the game. Jesse Palmer plays the game. But some of these guys that you see are just stupid, man, and they don't understand football, and they want to make it like they do, and so I don't know. I mean, you take a Jim Rome. Mm-hmm. That guy, I mean, what do you think he's ever done in his life? But this,
Jim Everett about took that cat out that
yes,
day.
Yeah.
I was watching that live.
So, I mean, it is, there's people like that everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And we got them here in Alabama.
Oh,
I promise you, we got them right here in Alabama that are sports writers and commentators, and they got no idea.
I watch some of the live stuff from in and around our area, and I'm sitting there going, man, these guys have no idea what they're talking about. They've never been on the sidelines of certain teams, and I'm sitting here watching them talk, and I'm like, man, they're insane.
There's one guy on AL.com. I like AL.com, but there's one guy that works for them, and I'll never forget Coach Saban. When this guy would ask a question, Saban would bite his lip because he's going, who is this guy? And he was a beat writer for me at one time at Hoover, and man, this he's so far out there. I mean, I listened to him on SEC Media Days. I just cringe at some of the questions he asks. He's goofy, man. He's just plain goofy. But anyway, it is what it is. But you know, we'll get ready to play, and our football team will be ready. I promise you that. But we got to be smart. Mm-hmm. In the days, we got to be smart with our kids today because I think we pushed them pretty hard yesterday. So we really got to back off a little bit today and be smart with our football team.
It's time to go Raymond Farmer full pads. No, I'm just kidding.
We're not going to do that.
Coach, I'll holler at you. Thank you.
Thank you.